Hey guys, we are in a particularly challenging time when we're confined to our homes with large amounts of food, and it can be very difficult to make good choices surrounding that food. So, we're going to look at 5 ways that we can control our thought process to empower us to win with food, okay? Number 1 is going to be listening to our bodies and not to our minds. So, in this case, your body is going to be able to tell you and communicate with your brain when it's reached satiety or when it's nearing that full state, and we want to stop at about 80%, but we're going to get to that, okay? Whereas your mind is always inundated with different thoughts that can also be very damaging. So the mind can often confuse other things like we've discussed in previous videos, like loneliness, boredom, fatigue, anxiety, all of those things as a need for food, and we often will then feed ourselves in an effort to treat those things. So the body can tell you when it's really hungry. The mind can be very tricky. So we want to be able to stop and say, am I really hungry? How is my body feeling right now? Not what is my mind telling me, okay? So that just takes good awareness to stop and make that assessment, all right? So number 2 then is going to come on top of that and be reinforce self-talk and positive feedback for yourself. So you want to really take an audit of the thoughts and sort of inner voices that you're having as it concerns food, and make sure that you are reinforcing all of those positive feedbacks that you have. And anytime you have a success, and just reminding yourself that this, or telling yourself, how does this serve me? Okay, this choice is going to serve me in this way, or this is going to be harmful and not work towards my long-term goals. So reinforce those thoughts that are helping you make decisions that serve you in a good and powerful way. All right, number 3 is going to be don't allow yourself to be fooled by those inner voices, okay? So moving a step further, when you have those thoughts that are coming in and being repetitive and telling you, hey, you're a little nervous right now, or you're bored, or aren't you feeling lonely? Wouldn't a nice couple cookies or cake really help you feel more comfortable and included and loved and accepted, or less anxious or excited, or like all of these different things that food can sometimes do in the moment, but it's not sustainable and it doesn't serve its long-term purpose. So make sure that you're not falling victim to those inner voices, all right? Sometimes that's probably going to happen. We have to come to expect that, and that's where we kind of move into these next step, and we'll talk more about that. So number 4 is going to be don't fall victim to societal norms. So this can be a number of things. In particular with this case, I think it can be the instance of that you have to clean your plate, and you need to finish everything on your plate, and it's not okay to throw away food because that is disrespectful to those people who don't have those resources, or that it's not acceptable maybe to take food to go or have leftovers for later, okay? We want to leave ourselves open for these options because if you are listening to those societal norms and ignoring your body's signal that it's full, but instead eating all the food on your plate, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And over the long term, while that may be fine in the moment and you just feel a little bit of temporary discomfort, but ultimately you're satisfied from the taste of the food, the long-term consequences could be pretty severe, from obesity to other chronic illnesses that can be developed. And those happen over short or over long-term periods of time with little habits that build up, okay? So be careful there and not falling victim to societal norms. And that's another thing. Right now, it's not necessarily as applicable, but even in social settings, when you go out and you feel pressured to eat, okay, ask yourself, am I really hungry? How does this food serve me? How does eating right now serve my body and my health? And am I just doing this to appeal to a social expectation? So be careful with that. But right now, that's making sure that you're not overeating because you would feel guilty about leaving food on your plate or possibly letting something go to waste, okay? And we'll talk more about how you can avoid that in a future video discussing behaviors around food. But we're going to look now at number 5 as it comes to controlling our thoughts around food and helping us be empowered. And that's actually going to be expect setbacks and be able to forgive yourself, okay? So in any situation in life, we're not perfect, and so there are going to be flaws and instances where we have setbacks and letdowns. That is definitely going to happen with food, whether that's with your fasting window, whether that's with the quality of food that you're trying to consume, and you slip up and have something that's outside of the realm, maybe that doesn't serve your body well. Any decisions with food, we can be very vulnerable, okay? So you have to be aware that there are going to be moments when you may be disappointed in the decisions you make with food. You have to be able to step back, allow yourself some space and forgiveness, look at how the situation went wrong, and then just resolve to do better next time, okay? The beauty of life is that every day is a new opportunity, a new chance to do a little bit better. So if we wake up in the morning, and sometimes this happens with me if I don't match all my daily disciplines, I'm disappointed, a little bit frustrated, but I can look and say, this is a brand new opportunity. Where did I go wrong? And what changes will we make today to avoid those same mistakes? All right. So I encourage you to do the same, but don't let your mistakes mount up as overwhelming guilt, or worse, turn into shame about who you are. And that becomes an internalized feeling of, I'm a failure around food. I'm weak. Food has control over me. It owns me. A number of very damaging thoughts can occur from that. So you want to be careful. You want to be able to say, you know what? That's really frustrating that I made that choice. And, I'm disappointed, but I'm human. I know I can do better. I'm going to forgive myself here, and I'm going to come up with a plan to move forward and make better decisions as it relates to my relationship with food, okay? So, all right, guys. Well, these were 5 tips to help us control our thought process around food, and hopefully these were helpful for you and will empower you in your own personal journey and relationship with food. So I thank you guys for watching. I encourage you guys to follow along on Facebook at Forsyth Wellness, or follow on Instagram at Derek Forsyth for daily updates about health-related information, functional medicine, my own practice as well.